Hello guys, welcome to Goshen City. In this message, Rev Sam discussed about the issues on how your wife can be treated by your family. Sometimes in a situation where your family doesn't like your wife, he discussed extensively on how you can handle the issues, on how you can create boundaries between your wife and your family, and how your family can care and treat your wife. Thank you. Kindly like, share, and subscribe this video.
In your marriage triangle, who's to be seated at the top? Say it again. Wife. So this is your wife, sir. Next to your wife, who occupies the space? Your children. Who comes in here? Extended families, right? Your immediate family, extended family. And then you come here, you call everybody here, others, including friends. Am I correct? So with a priority triangle, you don't have any conflict about what to do. Is that okay? So the first thing there is your wife first. That's number one. Because you're dealing with number 1 to number 3. There's nothing competing there. So if my sister doesn't like my wife, and I love my wife, my sister has relationship with me, all right? She must not allow her dislike for my wife to erode, to move into attitude towards my wife. So pending when whatever is her pain is, if I can't resolve it, because I'm going to confront her, that's the right thing to do as a man. You want to call your sister and say, sweetheart, I noticed that yourself and my wife, you don't get along. What's the problem? And then you help out. Is that okay? Very good. If you intervene, you mediate, and she is for no reason just upset, particularly because her friend was supposed to be your wife. Most times, all those unresolved conflict, the one that someone just said to your wife for nothing's sake, sir, they already had a plan as to who was supposed to be your wife. Number 2, if they didn't have an issue as to who was supposed to be your wife, sir, they had already thought you're going to be an ATM machine. In their mind, your wife is the obstacle to the flow. These are some possibilities. Number 3, it could be a personality issue. If your wife is an alpha person and your sister is an alpha person, alpha women always clash. You understand? Because your sister wants to extend territorial control into your house, not where you have a serious-minded woman. You will not extend your father's house to my own husband's house. Do you understand? So the first thing is to find a remote reason for this dislike. If it is not something that you can resolve, is because there's nothing you can do. You can't marry the friend. You can't change her personality. If it's not something you can do, you're just going to tell her, sorry, sweetheart, please let me tell you this. It's important as a man to put your feet on the ground and tell her, I will not accept any disrespect towards my wife. If you do that, you will have me to deal with. Put your feet on the ground. You cannot be unclear about where you stand about protecting your wife when you're dealing with your family. You want them to know without any sense of ambiguity as to, don't try my wife. You need to be clear about that. Do you understand that, sir? You said what, ma? It's important that you do that. And I'm not telling you what I've not done. My mother knows the boundary. My sister, I hope she said, knows the boundaries. We established a rule very early in my life, in our family. I told my sister, if you need anything, you go through my wife. You don't talk to me. You don't talk to me. And this is what normally creates problem for men when they die. Because you already have financial relationship with your family members. And you know, family members, they ask you for 100,000, you give them 100. They believe, see, they have a way of calculating. Our brother is a millionaire. They will start looking for what is not in existence when you die. Trouble the wife, trouble your children and all of that. So the first thing we did was to tell my sister, sorry please, you need anything, you don't talk to me. Why? It was early in our marriage. They already have me. My family loves me. My family needs to accept my wife. And one of the ways by which you get your family to accept your wife is by making sure that they relate with her on financial grounds. Because then they begin to feel like they are her own direct beneficiaries, right? Yeah. They begin to feel that she is the one doing them good. In fact, later in their minds, they'll just start thinking, if not for you, we'll not be getting anything from our brother. That's where you want to bring them to. So I told my sister, you need anything from me, you talk to my wife. Sir, I remember some years back, I think about 7 years ago, all of a sudden my sister called me from somewhere and we're like, what's the problem? I just said I should tell you, there's this. I said, sorry, did you remember the rules? She's a married woman. I said, do you remember the rules? Then I asked her a question. I said, do you have rules in your family? You and your husband, do you have rules? She said, yes. I said, you don't break the rule in my own family. Is that okay? I said, you call my wife, period. My mother doesn't talk to me on finances. My mother talks to my wife. My wife takes care of my mother's finances, buying of clothes, buying of shoes, giving her monthly pay, taking care of anything that has to do with that, making sure she look at her shop. Do we need to add money there? That's my wife's job, not my job. So when I came back from New York, my mother said, how was your trip? I said, fine. I said, mommy, I saw one girl. Hero! I just said, mommy, I saw one girl. I've not said anything, no. My mother said, God forbid. I said, mommy, what is it? She says, only Mary we know. We shall not see anybody else. Nobody will enter this house. I started laughing. In my extended family, sir, God, if I dare tell them that I'm thinking of another wife, they will come against me from the highest to the lowest. You know why? She has built bridges with all of them. She takes care of all of them. They don't talk to me. All right? And it's because of where I placed her. You can't make her to be 5 cents worth. You can't make your wife to be worth 5 cents before them and expect them to treat her like somebody that's worth $1,000. So most times we train them on how to relate with our wives. We do. Does that answer the question, sir? Thank you very much. I take the last. Okay. Yes, sir. Ooh.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Praise the Lord. Thank you so much for
this program, and I'm looking forward for the second phase.
Second phase.
Because you are shifting something in my mind.
Thank you.
You are making big shift inside of me.
Thank you.
I want to say big thank you once again.
You're welcome, sir.
When you are talking about the system,
Yes.
how do I build system if I'm an investor?
Yes.
How do I build the system?
Yeah.
Now, talking about trying to carry my wife along,
Yes.
how do I get my wife to like the kind of investment that I'm doing?
No.
Sometimes she will look at it and say, this thing is taking your money, you are not making progress on that. But this is the system, and this is the business investment I've been close to 40, 50 years. Yes, I've lost money there in the past, but I've learned to understand the business. I'm into stock. I've learned to understand the business, the time for the up and the time for the down. So how do I create system? And how do I also carry my wife along so that even if the Lord calls me home, she'll be able to take it up from there? Thank you.
That's very good. I'm glad that you're not planning to for her to go before you. So, all right. So, can you see what I'm doing here, sir? This is called employee. This is called employee. This is called self-employed. This is called business owner. This is called investor. Okay? So although you are made to believe that you are an investor with stocks and treasury bills, bonds, and cryptos and all that stuff, right? Okay, so what you don't know is that you're not really an investor, even though that's what you do. You're actually a self-employed person. Because you don't own any business, you don't own any business. You're just gambling. It's just that you are in a structured gambling environment. Is that okay? So that's pretty much what it is. But here's what I want to do. You're laughing, so you know what it is. So let's call you, for instance, let's even assume by any stretch of the imagination that you are an investor, because I put my money into this business, that's stock. I put my money into this business, so as the stock rises, I get some stuff. The business runs into problem, the stock goes down, my blood pressure goes up, you know. So is that not what happens to you? There's up and down, yeah? Okay. You now want to invite your innocent wife into this up and down business. Where's your wife? Madam, you want a job over the line? Eh? It's a monkey business. You know, put like monkey up and down. Okay, so fantastic for you. But here's what to do. First of all, your wife is not going to be happy to be praying for you if she watches you experiencing consistent losses. She's not going to be happy. The only thing that could make her to be happy is when she begins to see wins. All right? Have you had some wins lately? Good. Madam, have you been seeing enough wins? No. Madam, your voice was very loud before. Now it has. Stock can make person's voice to go down. Praise God. All right, sir. So here's what we do, sir. Stock is not your predictable means of income. No man should exist without a predictable means of income. Planning finances of family is based on predictable income. So you need a predictable means of income whilst you trade. So trading can be like a passive investment, a passive kind of business you do. Okay, that's a passive portfolio. So, but then you need something that's predictable. We need school fees. Do we plan on stock that will rise and fall? You're about to build a house and you have a timeline to finish it. Are you going to be telling the engineers, give me time, the stock is moving? It's moving. Eh? Are you going to use this up and down to plan the next? You are moving into your late 40s, 50s. How are you going to plan the next 10 years? You're already moving towards your 60s. How are you going to plan the 60s? Based on predictable income or unpredictable income? So what we encourage, those of you who are into stock, shares, and those who are into cryptos, we say, listen, once you have this break, that's why we call it gambling. Have you noticed gamblers, the moment they have one little break, I just make 1 million. Something will just tell them, look, if you use that 1 million, now you can make 100 million. They push the 1 million, everything goes. You've experienced that one too on stock, am I correct? Now. I experienced that in Fela, in Ikeja. I went and collected my school fees. And I was going home and I saw people gather together. Nobody told me. And I was just watching them. I was like, what are they doing here? And this one say, oh yes, I just won. I just hit 1,000. That's like, I just put I thought it was the correct thing. As I carry I brought small money out. I put inside the something. They say you just win 5,000 or something. I can't remember how much. And then they now say, don't you have much money because you can win? That's I carried all my school fees. I put. They say, oh. I say, what happened? They say your money has gone. I said, to where? I said, no, I just gave you the money. They say it has gone. I said, to where? I said, give me back my money. When I see one slap they gave me, fella boys. One slap I was hearing, we. So before I said, Jack, this one has followed here, the other one has followed there. That's how they were gone. From that time, sir, high risk and high return, not me. You are talking like this, Papa, if you put money here to come back in 3 days, slap is worrying me. It's trauma. So I'm responding to trauma. I've been traumatized. And I don't want to be cured from that trauma. Praise God. All right. So many of us are receiving the same slap, but we don't want to be traumatized. You see it go back again. So please, sir, you need a predictable income. Do you have children? The oldest is how old? Say it again. 8, sir. Sir, in exactly 7 years from now, in about 7 years from now, that child is going to be 7-8 years from now. The child is going to be moving to university. You don't know what university the child will have in mind. It could be Covenant, it could be Coventry, it could be Harvard. And you're not going to tell that child you can't pursue your dream. You only have 8 years. 8 years, sir. You only have 8 years to plan for that child's school. It cannot be left to chance. It cannot be left to you looking at stock market. It has gone down. Sir, no, sir. That's how people look until 8 years will come and go. Please, sir. Stock is something you can, if you know you don't want to stress yourself, have someone you know that can trade properly, and you focus on something else that brings predictable income. And don't forget that you are not yet wealthy until you have access to land. All wealths are retained by the earth. Sir, anything that does not put your wealth in the ground is subject to evaporating. Try it anywhere, sir. Stock, sir, not your stock. The company can go down. Enron, you know Enron? Energy company. Who would have thought that Enron would go down? Enron went down. Sir, treasury bills, nations become bankrupt. Bonds, nations go down. They tell you they make a promise with, that's when the nation is in good standing, then they fulfill their promise. Are you listening to what I'm saying, sir? But sir, you never go wrong with the earth. You know why? The only thing that is not in production again is the earth. Get as much of it as you can. The only thing that is not in production again is the earth. Get as much of it as you can. The first thing God did for man was to give him a portion of the earth. Before God gave him wife, earth, he gave him land. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Abraham, come, I will take you to a land. So you never go wrong with the earth. Either doing real estate on it, building shopping plazas on it, doing agriculture on it, having poultry on it. You never go wrong with the earth. FTX, you know FTX? The FTX guy, the owner of FTX, that went from 4 billion overnight to nothing and was arrested. Is that FTX? Huh? That's FTX now. I was in his place, close to his office in the Bahamas, where they picked him from. Young boy, 4 billion, right? About 4 billion worth within a space of months went down to nothing. Absolute bankruptcy. Do you ever think that someone worth 4 billion can ever go down? Why? Because everything was up in the clouds. So 4 billion worth land cannot disappear like that. Are you're going to be carrying it and moving out of Abuja? So all wealthy people secure their wealth by having access to earth and having access to things that come from the earth. That's why most people who don't want to overstretch themselves. Why do you think people are building houses in Dubai? Why do you think wealthy people are transferring their money to Dubai to build houses? Empty houses. Because they know that it's not the rent they are looking for. It's the appreciation on the house. So many build for rent. That's not where your money comes from. The real money is coming from appreciation of the property, not from rent. Rent is for the management of the property. So it's important that you wise up. So, and then if you notice that they also take their money and secure it in golds. And gold is from where to? From the earth. So I'm not saying you should not do trading and all this stuff. I'm saying once you make your break, use it to build a business. That is the one you ask your wife to stand on top. And as this one is moving, what you now do is percentile the amount from your regular income, percentile the amount that will be used for trading. So if 10% of every money I make, or 40% will be going for trading, is that okay? Now, anything other than that, I don't touch so that it does not affect the predictability of the family's finance. So now I trade on percentile. Does that make sense, sir? And as money comes from trading, you push it into where? Business. And the money from the business, again, that comes in, what do you use it to secure? You access lands. Is that okay? Yeah.